it be? For me, your man, Louie Tee. Welcome. You are here in the lab room on Louie Tee Live. Week 3 of the preseason in the National Football League. I'm breaking down every single game in week 3 of the preseason in the National Football League. Some more entertaining football. Are you not entertained? Yeah, man, I'm entertained. First game was pretty good. Second game, a lot of points in the first half. Yeah, I'd say I was pretty entertained today. Arizona Cardinals, Houston Texans, 2 playoff teams, 2 teams that won their division a season ago. Pretty good game. So, I'm going to talk about that here in a second. But first, as always, got to set the table. If this is your first time on this channel, welcome. I'm your man, Louie Tee. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, LouieTeeNetwork, for more great content in 2016 and beyond. Plenty of content already in the archives. Feel free to peruse the video archive. Knock yourself out. Subscribe to the channel. There's plenty more where this and all the rest of the videos have came from. Now, I've also got other ways you can reach me, other social media platforms. Down below, you'll see all of the different platforms that I have on social media. Also have Twitter @InTheLabRoom. You want updates, you want different various tweets, you want different things, follow me on Twitter @InTheLabRoom. Also on Facebook, same deal. A lot of different content going to be posted on Facebook, so check me out there. In the Lab Room is the Facebook page. Give me that like. So, that being said, got a lot of stuff I want to talk about here. And if you want to talk about some things here in this particular game, what you saw, and you want to address that on this show, and you want to have your voice heard, use the hashtag #LouieTeeLive as you see it scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Use the hashtag #LouieTeeLive, whether you're on YouTube, on the discussion board, whether you're on Twitter, @InTheLabRoom is the Twitter handle. Use the hashtag #LouieTeeLive, of course. Same applies to Facebook. In the Lab Room is the Facebook page, hashtag #LouieTeeLive. So with that being said, let's get into the likes, dislikes, banana in the tailpipe from the Week 3 preseason matchup between the Arizona Cardinals and the Houston Texans. Like, dislike, banana in the tailpipe.
What y'all, the second team?
We're the first team.
Yeah, we're not gonna fall for a banana in the tailpipe.
You're not gonna fall for the banana in the tailpipe?
So, likes, dislikes, banana in the tailpipe. It's really simple concept. Things that I liked by both teams in this game, things that I didn't like by both teams in this game. And then the banana in the tailpipe is simply the oldest trick in the book. I'm not falling for this particular thing or things that I may have seen in this game, whether they be bad or good. I don't think that that's going to necessarily be the case, whatever it is that falls into this category moving forward into the season. It may happen, but I'm just not sold. I need to see more. If it's something good, hey, it was nice that it happened in this game. May not happen in 2016. I'm not sure. You need to show me more. If it's something bad, I'm like, they're better than that. Don't run with that, because I don't think that's a good representation of who this team is. So let's talk about the likes, dislikes, and the banana in the tailpipe for the road team, as I like to do usually on this program. I'm going to start with the Arizona Cardinals. Things that I liked in this game for the Cardinals. Offensive response. They had an ugly interception on the first possession of the game. Carson Palmer has the football deflected by big Vince Wilfork, and that ends up leading to a touchdown by the Texans, and they come right back onto the field. Quick 8-play drive, 76 yards, boom, bang, bang. Next thing you know, those guys are in the end zone. A big 40-yard completion to Fells, the tight end. And then you get a nice run from David Johnson, DJ. And then next thing you know, they're in the end zone. And so it was a nice response. And that's what you get. I say this all the time about championship caliber teams. You get perseverance out of those teams. Look, mistakes are going to happen. With the bad teams, the mistake happens and then it snowballs. They start to doubt themselves. Next thing you know, all of a sudden, one mistake becomes 2, 2 mistakes become 3, and then all of a sudden you're in trouble. With good teams, with championship teams, you make a mistake, you overcome that mistake because it's built in you, into your team DNA. You understand, okay, that's behind us. Let's go make a play to make up for the mistake that we just made. So I thought that was good offensive response by the Arizona Cardinals in this game. David Johnson is my next like. I talked about DJ quite a bit last year as a rookie. Love DJ and what he provides for this team. Talked a lot about him in the draft out of UNI. And I said, man, this guy looks the part, and he was everything and then some catching the football out of the backfield. He was a threat as a special teams guy. That's done. Now he's a lead back. He's no longer going to be on kickoff returns or anything of the sort. But last year he was so dynamic. This year you see that they're going to use him in a multitude of roles, whether they split him out wide as a receiver, whether he comes out of the backfield as a pass catcher, or if he's just toting the rock in between the tackles or outside. He can run both inside and outside. So there's a lot of things they're going to do with David Johnson, and you saw that on that response drive. And really throughout this game, ran the football very effectively against a tough Texans defense. Expect a big season from David Johnson. You saw that in this game as well. Chandler Jones, huge offseason acquisition. We talked about this throughout the offseason about what he's going to mean to a Cardinals team that doesn't get a lot of pressure, doesn't generate a lot of pressure without blitzing. And so now you add a guy like Chandler Jones to the mix, and he's going to provide them with a little spark in terms of getting to the quarterback. Gives defensive coordinator Betcher a little bit of flexibility now. Doesn't necessarily have to blitz in third down situations. Can be a little bit more schematically different instead of just being, hey, look, let's go after these guys because we can't hit home without blitzing. So he gives them a little bit of flexibility, does Chandler Jones, and you saw it in this game. Got a sack, forced a field goal on Brock Osweiler, and so they're looking for more of that from Chandler Jones. He looked solid in this game. I think he's going to be a really good acquisition for them in 2016. Rush offense. Thought they ran the football good. I already talked about David Johnson. Well, Chris Johnson came in the game. So Johnson and Johnson. I mean, they literally came in and they ran the football really effectively in this game. He had a nice run, a nice couple of runs, did Chris Johnson. So did David Johnson. So I thought they ran the football well in this game. And again, take everything with a grain of salt. It's the preseason. Cardinals didn't play a lot of their guys on the defensive side of football. Didn't play a number of their guys on the offensive side of football. Take everything with a grain of salt. It's the preseason. Don't overreact. I can't stress that enough. But the Cardinals did run the football well in this game. Offensive depth is my final like for the Cardinals in this game. They have a ton of depth, and you saw that in this game. They can go with two tight ends. The first big play of the game offensively for the Cardinals is a Fells catch. 40 yards later, they're inside the Texans' 20-yard line. A couple plays later, they're in the end zone. Okay, so then they came back with Jermaine Gresham, and he had a nice, tough third down catch. It ran through a couple tackles and picked up about 14 on 3rd and 12. They have depth there. Running back position. I just told you DJ came in, toted the rock, got the touchdown early on in the game, and then here comes Chris Johnson toting the rock. So look, there's a number of guys that can give it to you at the running back position. And still, I didn't even mention Mr. Ellington at the running back position. So, yes, they can go a number of different ways there. And then receiving core, look, I'm not even going to go there with you because they're so deep at receiver. It's not even funny. The only position that I feel like they're lacking on the offensive line, on this offensive side of football is that quarterback. If Carson Palmer goes down, Drew Stanton wasn't all that impressive in this game and hasn't been throughout his career. He's a backup quarterback in every sense of the word. And so I feel like the Cardinals are missing opportunities to draft a 3rd or 4th round quarterback and start grooming the guy for the future. I think they're missing the boat every year by just electing. And I get it. I understand that Super Bowl window closes every year with a veteran roster, but you got to find a way to start preparing yourself for the future so you don't have to fall off a cliff when Carson Palmer says, you know what? I'm done, man. I'm tired of the concussions. I'm tired of the everyday grind. My wife just had a child last offseason. I want to spend time with my family. I'm done. And what do you do then? Who's going to be your quarterback? You don't want to put yourself in that kind of position. They need to start looking for the future there, but that's another discussion for another day. Let's go to the dislikes for the Arizona Cardinals in this game. Injuries, man. Damn it. You know how I feel about injuries. At any point in the season, especially the preseason, Mike Jenkins goes down. First quarter. That looks like a torn ACL, folks. Again, let me put out this disclaimer. I did not sleep at a Holiday Inn yesterday, nor did I sleep at a Holiday Inn last night, okay? So I don't know if that's his ACL, but anytime I see a dude clutching at the knee and it's no contact, first thing that pops into my brain, ACL. If I see him start reaching down towards that ankle, Achilles, okay? Somewhere in that calf to ankle area, I'm looking at the Achilles. I see you clutching at the knee. I'm going with the ACL. So that one looks like an ACL. He's had an ACL before, so it wouldn't shock me, and that sucks. He already had a club on his hand, so he was already dealing with an injury. He was gutting it out, trying to make this roster, trying to be an Arizona Cardinal, and his season is done before it even got a chance to begin, and that is very unfortunate. The next dislike for the Arizona Cardinals in this game, turnovers. Can't have them. Can't win with them. Won't win with them. And so 2 of them by Carson Palmer. The first one, it happens. Ball got tipped at the line of scrimmage. What can you do? The second one, Bruce Arians got on him. Because when you're throwing a screen, there's no reason that your screen should get batted in the air. What Arians wanted him to do was put a little bit of air, put a little trajectory on that football. Don't throw it straight. Don't allow this guy to get his hands on the football and then pick it off. And that's what he did. He didn't put any air on that football. It was a straight, direct line throw, and it got batted in the air by John Simon and picked off by John Simon and house called by John Simon. So it was a triple threat there by John Simon. We'll talk about that play a little bit later on. But those 2 turnovers hurt because the Texans scored 14 points directly off of those turnovers. You can't give them up. Can't do it. Even though the Cardinals are good enough to overcome those type of mistakes. You see how that first half turned out. Again, it's the preseason. Take it with a grain of salt. But again, you're on the road against a tough defensive-minded team. You turn the football over, chances are you're not going to come out of there with a win. Can't have that happen in the regular season if you're the Arizona Cardinals. Chunk plays. They gave up a bunch of chunk plays, whether it was Will Thrill out there, out wide, or if it was Nuke getting some chunk plays over the middle of the field. You can't give them up. You can't give up the type of chunk plays they gave up in this game consistently and expect to win. Now, again, I can't stress this enough. No Pat P on the field. No Honey Badger on the field. So, again, take everything with a grain of salt. A lot of their big name players in that secondary wasn't out there. So, they're not good enough up front yet to generate the type of pressure that's going to be able to alleviate that secondary and absolve them from wrongdoing. They're not good enough up front yet. So, in order for everything to work out, they're going to need to have the secondary members be out there and playing at a high level. They didn't have that in this game, and so the chunk plays happened, but they still happen. You know, what happens if Patrick Peterson goes down and has to miss 4 games? Your lineup is going to look similar to that. You need guys to step up and make plays. They did not do that in this game. Justin Bethel, bless his heart. We had this discussion all offseason. I talked to Arizona Cardinals fans about Justin Bethel, and I said, look, I'm just not comfortable with Justin Bethel opposite of Pat P. I'm not. You saw why in this game. You can't be. You cannot be content with Justin Bethel being one of your 3 best corners because that's what's going to happen. He's going to get beat. We saw it all year last season, and it's not like he's not in position. He just doesn't look for the damn football. He's fast. He can run. He just doesn't look for the ball. And I talk about this all the time. If you don't look for the ball, what good is it? That's half the battle. Half of the battle is being athletic and technique savvy enough to be in a position to make a play. The other half of the battle is looking for the football and making a play. Well, he doesn't complete the other half. So that's unfortunate. He got beat a bunch in this game by Will Thrill. And I don't know what else to say to you. You better hope that your rookie, Williams, is on the fast track to being ready. Because if he's not, and you got to rely on Justin Bethel, I don't know what to say to you. But then in the tailpipe for the Arizona Cardinals in this game, the defense. Don't overreact to what you saw in this game. Yeah, the Texans rung up 31 in the first half. Yeah, it was fun. They were throwing the football all around the yard. It was fun. It was also the preseason, and it was also against a secondary that is not going to look anything like the secondary we're going to see come week 1. This is going to be a totally different Arizona Cardinals team. Defense, offense, a lot of guys sat out. Sheriff John Brown, no Larry Fitzgerald in this game, no Pat P, no Tyrann Mathieu. A lot of guys that we know as household names and big name players in this league did not play in this game. So the defense, take that with a huge grain of salt, okay? Is that even makes any sense? Grain of salt and huge? Probably don't go in the same sentence. In any event, that defense, I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe that defense is going to look anything remotely close to what we saw today when the season gets started. And neither should you. Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Oldest trick in the book. That defense isn't going to look like that come week 1, and you know it. So does your man Louie Tee as well. Let's go to the Houston Texans and talk about what you saw in this game. Let's start with the things that I liked. This offense. Oh, man, look. I tell you this all the time. When I'm wrong, I'll be the first one to tell you I'm wrong. But when I'm right, you going to know I'm right. Trust and believe. I'm going to tell you I'm right. A lot of people have been talking to me about Brock Osweiler. Oh, my God, he's unproven. He's not even good. He babysitted the Denver Broncos football team last year. The man won football games. What are we talking about? I said Brock is going to be the best thing that happened to the Texans. He's good. Watch what I tell you. I know it's the preseason. And everything I just said lends you to not overreact. But what is my mantra? What's my motto? You can only slay and put away who they put in front of you. You can only beat who they put in front of you. You can't beat an imaginary team. You can't beat Pat P if he's on the sidelines. So who do you beat? You beat Justin Bethel. Sounds good to me. That's what he did. He carved those boys up. You putting second stringers in the game, I'm going to eat them up. That's what he did. B.O. B.O. is the truth, guys. You're going to find out. The Texans, if they play the type of defense that we saw in this game and that we've seen over the last 3 years, if they play that kind of defense with B.O. at quarterback playing like this, with the weapons that he's surrounded with, and we're going to get to those weapons here in a second. Come on, man. Look out, Indianapolis, because I already broke down the Colts game from yesterday. Not pretty. Not pretty at all. So, look, man, don't count the Texans out in this division. They won it last year for a reason. Now they actually have a real quarterback in B.O. Not body odor, Brock Osweiler. But I'm telling you right now, he going to leave a lot of y'all teams stinking out there when it's all said and done. Nuke, man, what do I need to say? What more can I say? What more do I need to say about Nuke? You know what time it is. He's got help. He's got friends now. That's trouble. That's trouble. Will Thrill. Me and him go way back to the Notre Dame days, man. I told you, he's going to drop one every now and again, but he's going to run past some corners, man. It's going to be bad. If you got slow corners, if you got flat-footed corners, Will Thrill, you saw it. You saw he's the real deal in this game, okay? B. Millie. Out of all the receivers, I thought it was going to take him a little while to catch on. Again, newcomer to the receiver position. Last year at Ohio State was his first year playing receiver. So I said, B. Millie's going to take a little while to get acclimated. B. Millie was the first one doing work in this game. First, third down. Matter of fact, fourth down. B. Millie. Early catch in the game. B. Millie. B. Millie looked good. Another weapon for B.O. to get the football to. Miller Lite, man. Miller Lite. Of course, I'm talking about Lamar Miller. The reason he's Miller Lite, because he's a smaller back. Everybody thinks, oh, he's a scat back. Got to get him outside. No, Lamar can get in between the tackles. You saw it on the touchdown run. He can nifty and zig and zag his way through traffic. He's not afraid of contact. He's Miller Lite. Touchdown. Hey, look, and he's got speed to burn. Another weapon. And then Jay Strong at the end of the first half. Look, I don't really know what to expect from him from week to week, but always good to know you got some extra stuff just hanging around, man. That's a potent offense right there, if I may say so myself. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. John Simon and Andre Hall with 2 interceptions, some turnovers forced. You love to see that. That's my next like for the Texans. This is a defense that is aggressive, that can do some things. If they can create turnovers like they did in this game, they're going to be hard to beat. This is a dangerous team. And remember, there's no J.J. Watt, and they're creating turnovers and getting points off of those turnovers. So that's a really good sign. That was a hell of a play by John Simon. The triple threat, the deflection, the interception, and then I'm going to go ahead and complete the trifecta and get in the end zone, make that house call, man. John Simon looking damn good on that particular play. Great catch by Andre Hall. I talked about this the other day with the Redskins, how hard it is to catch a football that's been deflected. Andre Hall concentrated, caught that football like a pro, set the Texans up in prime field position, led to a touchdown. Clowney's activity is on my like list. Thought he really was active. Saw him look good last week, and he continued that trend in this game. Didn't make any impactful plays, but he was constantly in the backfield, constantly making his presence felt. And even if you don't make a play, but you disrupt the timing of a play, you get credit for it, man. And so you may not show up on the stat sheet, but if you're watching the game, you see what's going on. And I thought Clowney was very active. He looks like he's starting to get back to the guy that was the number 1 overall selection in the 2014 NFL draft. So that's a good sign for the Texans. If they can get anything out of him, they could be really dangerous up front, because Whitley Merciless, he's not a game, okay? He's the truth. And he almost got to Carson Palmer in this game as well. And so with Watt, Merciless, and if you can add another big-time threat like Jadeveon Clowney, look out again on this Texans defense. And then a guy that I was enamored with throughout the draft process this past spring, Tyler Ervin. I love this guy out of San Jose State. The beauty of what he brings to the table is, he much like Miller Lite, he's not a guy that you just got to run outside because of his size. He had a game where he had 40 carries at San Jose State. He was Mr. Do-It-All at San Jose State. In between the tackles, outside, catch the football, punt returns, kickoffs, you name it, he did it. He was everything for them offensively. And I love that the fact that he's going to get involved. They're going to get him touches. He's dynamic. He's explosive. You saw it on the kickoff return. You see him out of the backfield catching the football. He's going to be a problem, and I think they're going to find ways to integrate him into this offense. And it just adds to the fact that they can be explosive in Houston, and it just adds another weapon that you have to account for in that Texans offense. Dislikes. The run defense. Wasn't impressed. I thought the Cardinals had really good success running the football with both Johnson and Johnson. And I thought the Texans didn't do a great job of stopping the run in this football game. This one is more of a pet peeve of mine. And hopefully by the time the regular season starts, they fix this. Look, man, what the hell are we doing here, Texans staff? You got 2 Millers on your team. They both spell their name M-I-L-L-E-R. How is it that neither one of them have a first initial on their jersey? Why am I looking at 2 different Millers and it just says Miller on the back? Can you answer me that? Now, I know which one's which. One's 13, and that's Braxton Miller. One's 26, and that's Lamar Miller. I'm quite aware of that. Still, everyone's not as in tune to who's who. Can you do me a favor? Put an L on one of those jerseys, put a B on the other one. Or just pick one and say, hey, we got to put an initial on your jersey. You're going to be, since you're the rookie, you're B. Miller. Solve that for me, man. Handle that before week 1. I don't want to have this discussion with you again. And then, of course, the final dislike in this game, the Will Thrill drop. It's going to happen, okay? I told you that when I broke him down in the draft process. It's going to happen. Live with it. You're going to get big plays. You're going to get some big drops. Live with it. Comes with the territory. Trust me, you'll get more big plays than you will drops. But they're going to come. Just know that. Anyway, moving on to the banana in the tailpipe. The run defense. It's not going to be that bad. You know why? Because they got a bad man named J.J. Watt. Justin Jonathan Watt. He's coming back. Just in case you didn't know. So, he's going to solve that. So, don't worry about the run defense. Not falling for the banana and tailpipe. Run defense isn't that bad, so I'm not going to even worry about it. And with that being said, going to check Twitter, and I didn't bring my device out, so not going to check Twitter. Probably nothing up there anyway, usually isn't. So we will go to the YouTube discussion board, and I see plenty of heat here, so I'm going to jump and dive right into this and see what you guys have to say. Steve Nasty 131 says, how can Ellington be so explosive running the ball but be so bad at returning? LOL. Special teams are concerned for the Cards. Well, it's not the same thing, because when you're a special teamer, guys are coming at you full speed. It's hard to ignore a guy that has a 50-yard head start running full speed at you, and you're just supposed to just keep running and act as if they... And that's what makes the best kick returners. Guys that put their body on the line with reckless abandon. They will hit a hole And they don't care about the consequences. They don't care that a guy has a 40-yard head start and is going to smack right into him. And then you have the guys that do a great job of setting up blocks, getting space. And then you need to have great blocking, really, is what it boils down to. Because if you notice with Ellington, once the crowd starts to get close to him, he stops his feet. Because he doesn't want to get hit that hard. Nobody wants to get hit that hard. And the elite returners, they either quickly make a decision and force the issue, or they don't stop. They don't put the brakes on. Because once you stop your feet, the chances of you being able to restart and get to top speed before someone gets their hands on you is slim to none. And what you'll find with Andre Ellington is that he's explosive, he's dynamic, but he sees those guys running at him, and all of a sudden, his thing is, hey, let me switch directions. Let me try to find some blocking. Let me find somewhere to go. I don't want this guy slamming into me. And that's what you see with 90% of returners. Kick returning and punt returning isn't for everyone. It takes a special, and I say this all the time, it takes a special type of individual to be a kickoff or punt returner, especially a punt returner, because it takes some guts. If you decide not to fair catch, you get your block knocked off. So same thing with kickoff. It takes a special type of individual. Not everyone is. It's funny because we have that video game mentality when it comes to kickoffs. Well, just put the fastest guy. I used to do that back in the day on Madden. Put the fastest guy I got on my roster. Take a cornerback with 98 speed. Put him on kickoffs because he's fast. Why the hell not? It doesn't work like that in the real world, though. It doesn't work like that in the NFL. You can't just put a fast guy back there because usually with running backs, they run the football like a running back. And you don't want that because running backs need to be patient. They need to set up blocks. You don't want that on kickoff returns. You want a guy that's aggressive, that's going to hit the hole and go much faster than slow. And with running backs, generally speaking, you rarely see dynamic kickoff returners as running backs. It's rare. Now, there are, rare exceptions for that where you have guys that are running backs that do a hell of a job. But for the most part, generally speaking, it's not running backs who are dynamic as kickoff returners. It's usually receivers that you see doing that. Let's go to the next comment. Andrew Kim says, will Hopkins have more yards and TDs than last year with Brock now at the helm instead of Hoyer? Or will Brock spread out the offense with other receivers like Braxton, Fuller, and Strong? Interesting question. Obviously, with more targets, there's more footballs to go around to other guys. That common sense tells you that, yeah, his numbers should come down, but that doesn't have to be the case necessarily. It all depends on how often the Texans offense gets the football. Let's see if this defense is generating turnovers. They're getting teams off the field 3 and outs, and this offense is getting the football a ton. There'll be more than enough footballs to go around, and he'll still be able to eat. And you got to think with Will Fuller on one side and that kind of game-breaking speed, you can't double Nuke anymore. You can't just say, all right, we're going to take Nuke out of the game and try to double him, because then Will Fuller's going to eat you up on the other side. So now you got a decision to make. Which one of these guys do I feel like I need to devote 2 defenders to? And I think that's going to free up Nuke now. I think he's going to get more opportunities to make some big plays. So I think he's still going to have some monstrous, cartoonish-like numbers, especially if B.O. stays healthy and is able to continue to play the way that we've seen him play this preseason, which I don't have any doubts about because I told you I thought he was really good, and he's showing that he can be really good right now. Let's keep it moving. See if we got any more comments. The Cruising 26 says, I can tell your pet peeve is when corners don't turn their heads. It's mine as well. Yeah. Look, man, what good is it to run all the way down the field 40 yards and then don't look for the football? I mean, it frustrates me to no end. I can't tell you how often I see corners who are athletically gifted that have all the things necessary to be successful at the highest level there is in the National Football League, and they just don't look for the football. How can you make a play on something that you don't even know where it is, that you can't see? Don't ask me. Again, don't ask me. I don't know. Stop asking. Let's see. Walter Hinnett says, do you think Lamar Miller can be a top 5 running back now that he's with Houston? No, I don't think he can be a top 5 back. What I think he can be is a really good back. I think he can be a top 12-ish back, top 10, maybe sneak into the latter half of that top 10, maybe. That's a stretch, though. But anything's possible because with the weapons outside, You're going to get some light boxes because of the way they should be able to throw the football in Houston. You shouldn't see a bunch of 8-man fronts. So they should be able to spread teams out, and he should be able to get some running room. And we know what he is out in space. So it wouldn't shock me if he was a top 10 back this year. But top 5, too many good backs in this league for him to just leapfrog guys. You saw one of the better backs in the league in this game in David Johnson. Of course, Adrian Peterson, Todd Gurley. The list goes on and on and on with guys that can have huge impacts. Whoever's in the backfield behind that Dallas offensive line probably going to have a big year. So will he be a top 5 back? I doubt that, but I think he could be a top 12 back and maybe even sneak into the top 10 with this offense. See what else we have. See, K. Mitchell says, do you see cornerback Brandon Williams from the Cards being an upgrade over Cromartie? Not an upgrade, but it's a start. You need to find a way to improve cornerback number 2 because cornerback 1 is all world, probably the best that we have to offer in this league in Pat P. And then number 2, there's a start and steep drop off. And you haven't been good at both cornerback 1 and 2 since Cromartie left. And Justin Bethel was a disaster last year. And I like Justin Bethel. I think he's a great special teamer, maybe a good third corner, but he's not a good second corner. And so Cromartie was a veteran. He understood the position. No, Brandon Williams isn't going to come in. And remember, Brandon Williams, your rookie third-round selection out of Mississippi State, is a guy that just switched to cornerback last season. This is a guy that was a running back in college, so you can't expect him to just jump in and just be better than Antonio Cromartie. Not going to happen in his rookie season. What you want to see from him is him making leaps, making strides, taking those leaps and bounds, and getting better. Okay, you want to see this guy improving week to week. You're hoping that the week 1 version of Brandon Williams looks nothing like the week 9 version of Brandon Williams. And you're hoping the week 9 version of Brandon Williams pales in comparison to the week 17 version of Brandon Williams. That's what you should be hoping for. And by the time you get to the postseason, because this Cardinals team is going to be there, barring any kind of catastrophic injuries, you're hoping that he's a key contributor and a guy that you can rely on opposite of Pat P. once the postseason arrives. And so that's it. That's going to do it for this episode. I thank you for joining me here in the lab room on Louie Tee Live. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab room. Come back and join me as I continue to break down anything and everything in the National Football League, running through week 3 of the preseason. And remember, changing the game, 1 live feed at a time. I will see you next time. Got some Sunday night football, man. As a matter of fact, I'm going to try to squeeze this Jets-Giants in here before the Sunday night game. See what I can get done. Hopefully, I can get it done. We'll see. But in any event, you're going to see me at least 2 or 3 more times tonight. So get used to me, man. Stop trying to get rid of me. See you in a little bit.